Well, you can forget about Calvin Ridley as he is now suspended for the whole 2022 NFL season. So let's get into some of the biggest whispers that have been going around the Eagles facility when it comes to free agency and draft prospects.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. And today, we got a lot to talk about. But before we do that, Eagle Nation, help your boy out and hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new, and ding that notification bell so you know when these videos drop.
Keep that roots going, baby!
1, 2, 3, roots! So let's start off with this Calvin Ridley news. He will be suspended at least the 2022 season by the NFL for betting on NFL games, league source says. Now let's pull up what Adam Schefter had to say about the whole situation. NFL determined that Calvin Ridley placed multi-leg parlay bets involving 3, 5, and 8 games that included the Falcons to win. Per source, investigations determined there was no involvement from any team, players, coach, etc., placed via his mobile device out of state. Wow. This is wild. Now, a lot of people were saying on Twitter they didn't even know that players can do this. How could you bet on your own sport, right? There's a chance you can alter the game by playing less hard, having a teammate play less hard, right? If you are a high-paid guy, you bet against your team or for your team, you can say, hey, I'm going to give you all this money, just play a little easy. You just can't have that in the sport, right? So this man then said via Adam Schefter and all that, I bet $1,500 total dollars. I don't have a gambling problem. I mean, this guy decided to bet $1,500 and it probably cost him $10 million. Like, he was a prime target for the Eagles, right? He can play that X position. He's an Alabama wide receiver. He's special when he's on the field. And he knows Devontae Smith. They play together. They would have been a perfect duo, left and right, killing it for years to come because Calvin Ridley is pretty darn young. This man decided to walk away from football because he had some mental things he had to get right. And instead of getting right, there wasn't really who's his friends, who's his family. You got to get this man help instead of letting him just gamble. And if it really was only $1,500, these little bets could cost him a lot. Because I don't know how the NFL is going to handle it. Some people are saying this is way too harsh of a punishment. I mean, it is what it is because of how big sports gambling is for all of us. But if this man let $1,500 cost him $10 million, it got to be the worst bet ever. Man, Calvin, I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say about that situation. Let's get to some of the biggest whispers for the Philadelphia Eagles. John McMullen tweeted, loudest Eagles whispers so far are trading up to make sure they get David Ojabo and hashtag Texans safety Justin Reed in free agency, which is the type of player that fits their MO. There was one other tweet that I forgot to bring up and put on OBS. It is Harold Landry, the Titans sack leader for the last couple years, also mentioned as whispers going around the Eagles facility. There's one more, a wide receiver. We'll get to him last. But what do you think about the Eagles moving up to get David Ojabo? Here's the thing. We want, with one of our first-round picks, a linebacker. And if it doesn't happen this year, it's never going to happen. Howie Roseman Gio was at the combine and shouted out Howie. He straight shouted Howie out. Let me show you the video. I put it in my last video. Here it is.
Well, Howie Roseman might be listening right now.
Yeah.
Gio. So what would you tell him if he was listening to you right now about your Eagles?
Wide receivers and linebackers. Please, Howie, for the love of God, get us some linebackers.
Get us some linebackers. With that being said, live on national TV, the fact that he watched Micah Parsons change the complexion of the Dallas Cowboys defense has to be enough. But pass rushers, you're never going to have to worry about because that is what Howie loves. That's what he loves. And let's be honest, we really need pass rushers. Not only were we second to last to the Atlanta Falcons in sacks, but Derek Barnett is leaving. And I know some people are happy about it, right? He wasn't productive. 2 sacks? 2 sacks? Here's the thing, though. He played 85 to 90% of the snaps for the Eagles. He's always out there for 50 to 60 snaps. That means good or bad snaps, they have to be replaced. If you take a guy out of your team who is playing 60 snaps, whether they are good snaps or bad snaps, you got to replace it. Kerrigan played snaps. He was trash, but he's gone. If Kerrigan and Barnett are gone, you do get Brandon Graham back, but you got to get more people. So Harold Landry is a guy who they're talking about. Get him. David Ojabo or George Karlaftis or Abakite or Jermaine Johnson, you got to get a pass rusher. If not 2, if you get one free agency and get one via the draft, that's good. But we got to turn it around. My whole life, the Eagles' D-line has been good. We're not about to be bad now. Stop it. Now, safety, Justin Reed is someone I didn't expect. I talked about, Jesse Bates and Marcus Williams, but this is a middle-of-the-pack guy when it comes to money who's actually been pretty productive. He's versatile. He plays free, strong, and he can play some corner. We don't want him to, but we got to make a move for the safety position too, because you don't know what's going on with Ronnie McLeod, and he don't got that much time left. Anthony Harris is a guy that I don't think the Eagles are going to bring back. He wasn't good enough. So with our 2 starting safeties up in the air, you got to make a move. Go out there and get a guy like Justin Reed. It's not that expensive. You still draft the guy, and then you're sitting better, right? Marcus Epps and Kavon Wallace as the depth pieces. If they're the starters, who the heck is behind them if injury happens? So once again, David Ojabo, whether you believe in him or not, the Eagles are starting to like him. I don't know if I would move up. I would see how the board falls. If you can get him at 15, you can get him at 15. But I do see the Eagles getting a defensive end, a pass rusher, and whether it's the guy they want, they got to move up 2, 3 spots. How he's going to be aggressive. He got the capital so he can be aggressive. We just got to make sure they hit. Now, Harold Landry, just get him. Just get him. If he wants to lead the Titans, get him. That could be our big spend, I guess. If you go out and spend big on Harold Landry and Justin Reed, right? Justin Reed, mid-level to, 15 to 20 range safety pay, and then you go out and get Harold Landry, I'm okay with it. The defense is the thing you have to really revamp. Offense is pretty good / young. The main question mark on offense is, will Jalen Hurts take that next step, which will also make Goddard, Smith, the offensive line, Watkins, everybody better. Speaking of the offensive side, a rumor floated from a couple people is Juju Smith-Schuster. JPA football they got Twitter fingers. They just want to be the first one. But he did quote Adam Kaplan, and I did listen to the podcast. He talked about it. He mentioned that we wanted Juju last year, and Juju went back to Pittsburgh. Juju's only 25 years old. I thought he was older. Now I know he does that TikTok thing, and it is what it is. But Juju Smith-Schuster, although he's not my first option, if we got him, I wouldn't be mad. He's still a B-plus receiver, and maybe he can take that backseat to Devontae. If Jalen Hurts progresses and Devontae becomes the number 1 stud we all believe he can, well, then Juju's playing as the second best wide receiver like he did when AB was on the field. Juju was productive. It wasn't until he had to be the top dog that he still was productive, but not at the same rate that he was with AB. Again, this all goes back to Jalen Hurts taking the next step, getting the wide receivers involved. But I'm going to assume that that's going to happen. Hopefully he does. If not, we'll be worried about a quarterback sooner than people think. With that being said, we got to make something happen. We do have the money to sign 2 to 3 guys. Maybe one high-quality guy and 2 mid-quality type free agent signings. Maybe if you grab one of your guys back, Ronnie McLeod or Steven Nelson on some low money. It is what it is. We got to see. Draft needs to be defensive heavy. Pass rusher is one that we will not get. Linebacker is one we all want, including Gio. And, of course, safety, corner. You just got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Defense still wins championships. Rams had a better defense than the Bengals. They won. Bucks had a better defense than the Chiefs. They won. Right? The last couple Super Bowls, although both teams had a great offense, the better defense won too. So you still need that. With all that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section when it comes to Calvin Ridley, Juju Smith-Schuster, Harold Landry, Justin Reed. Let me know, Eagle Nation. Y'all know y'all football. Preach it in the chat. We out.